How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Gary's Mod, and today we're going to take a look at the July 2025 update, which has some pretty exciting features, including one that might be monumental for a few of you out there. Let's go over what that change is. So by far the biggest change in this update is the fact that you no longer need Counter-Strike Source to be mounted or downloaded or bought or anything. All the content from Counter-Strike Source will now be loaded into Gary's Mod natively. Apparently the developers had to even contact Valve with this and make an agreement, and Valve, of course, being as cool and awesome as they are, agreed, and now you don't need to buy Counter-Strike Source to enjoy a lot of the content in Gary's Mod. Now it's important to note that this does not include maps, which means you will not get Counter-Strike Source maps, although you might be able to download the maps from the workshop that other people have made, since it does use the assets which are available now, and that could be a way around it. Now it's important to understand that this does not cover all types of missing content. You could still sometimes see a few things here or there. Apparently this does not include sounds either, or music, so do be mindful of that. But something else that also comes with this change is Episode 2 content, which means you don't need to own Half-Life 2 Episode 2, even though you definitely should, to enjoy even more content, because, well, a lot of add-ons also use Episode 2 for their assets, and I've experienced this so many times. Thankfully now you don't need to worry about that, and this also includes the Episode 2 content items, which we'll go over really quick. But first, I want to show you guys and demonstrate that I do not have CSS or Episode 2 mounted, and I'm going to load into a map that requires both of them. So we're going to kill two birds with one stone here. You're going to see as we load in, everything is in place. In fact, if you didn't tell me, I would assume that I had these two games mounted, but I don't. This is all exclusively from just Gary's Mod, and you won't find a single error or missing texture anywhere. This is incredible, and I'm so happy for people who don't own Episode 2 or Counter-Strike or both to now be able to enjoy all this content that is no longer required. Alright, now to go over the things that have been added, we of course have the Hunter. A really awesome NPC, one of my favorite synths, and of course you couldn't use him unless you had Episode 2 mounted. Well, now he's in the game. We also do have the Resistance turret, which is really cool to see, and the Magnuson device, one of my favorite things ever, one of the coolest ways to take out an enemy, and to finally give a middle finger to those damn Striders. And then last up, of course, we have the Jalopy, one of my favorite additions to Half-Life ever. I freaking love this beat-up muscle car, it's just so badass, but what do you guys think down below? I think this is a massive W. Thank you to Valve for letting this happen. Now something else that is kind of buried amongst the features is now there's a confirmation dialog for when you try to load a save that would then change your map. So imagine that you load a save and you think it's for your current map. Uh-oh, now you're loading into a different map. Well, this fixes that by giving you that confirmation dialog saying, hey, we're going to change maps, are you ready? And honestly, everything else is pretty minute. There could be an issue or an improvement here that you have been waiting for to be resolved. However, I'm not going to be going over all of them in this video because there's quite a few and a lot of them aren't even ones that many would notice. I'll put the patch notes down in the description, and I'll also have it slowly panning down on the screen as we speak, so you guys can kind of pause it, see what changes have been made. But I am going to point out a few of my favorites, and one of the ones I think is pretty cool is now crossbow bolts can bounce off of frozen indestructible props, which means you can now do some pretty cool sick trick shots using props now. Something else that's pretty cool is you can increase the max range of the fizz gun using this command from 8k all the way to 30k, which is a massive improvement. So now by putting this command in, your fizz gun should be going a lot further than before. Now really quickly, I do want to just go over one of the things that have been removed, and there's only a couple things thankfully, but oddly enough, the use bloom option in video settings, you're going to notice is no longer there, and I always had that turned off, but it turns out it never did anything. According to the patch notes here, it says it was not bound to any convar or setting, so it did nothing. It was a pointless feature just sitting there, and I always thought it made the bloom more bloomier, but well, I was wrong. Like I said, guys, there are some pretty cool hidden gem features here. I showed off a couple of the ones I did like, but let me know which feature is your favorite. And again, I'm so excited and happy for the people who only own Gary's Mod, but could never use the Counter-Strike Source add-ons or the ones that use those assets. Now you can. Please tell me what you think, and of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you did like this video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching, and until next time, farewell.